Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So over the last couple weeks, we have been seeing some, pretty big news coming out from the SEC. And one of the biggest things recently was obviously the, case being finished from the SEC around Ripple and XRP. And now everyone's wondering, like, what's next? Because again, over the last couple weeks, what have we been hearing? ETFs, because I think now we're up to like 18. We actually look at this image here, we have about 18 XRP ETF filings, and it's crazy to think that, this is what's behind the scenes of XRP. Like, the case was huge. Don't get me wrong, the case being pretty much done is huge, but we now have Polymarket users predicting that an 83% chance we get an XRP ETF approved in 2025. But see, that's the thing. It's not just one XRP ETF. No, it's going to be 18 ETFs that get approved for XRP. Everyone was focused on the XRP case, and don't get me wrong, it's big, that's done. But this is the tsunami behind XRP right now. That's just brewing, and the waves are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when we have all of this approved and it's trading live, I don't think anyone will be able to stop what's coming. This is why I kept saying to just focus on the things brewing even behind the case, because once the case is done, we have this to look forward to. And also, by the way, ever since we got the case basically finished, we have here from Binomial, and we're live. Binomial's physically settled XRP USD futures are now trading. Trade with real asset delivery, stronger price discovery, and full CFTC regulatory compliance. This is a game changer, and this is just one of the few moves that we have now witnessed ever since the case got pretty much, finished. But I do expect a lot more of these types of announcements. But the ETFs, we're starting to see just a very bullish environment around XRP forming, even though the market has been pretty cold lately. So when we think about that, what happens to XRP when the market bounces back in a big way? Well, we have a lot to look forward to. In fact, big shout to Crippen Writer over on X. I believe he also has a YouTube channel. So big shout to him. Go check him out if you haven't already. We have here that you're not bullish enough. XRP 7-year triangle broken upwards. Institutional players are bullish as ever. This is like, for an example, Graham Rodford, aka the Grodfather, from Archix Exchange, which, by the way, guys, Archix, this is going to be a huge player behind XRP in terms of like institutional grade DeFi and tokenization use cases. SEC has been replaced. SEC appeal against Ripple dropped. U.S. crypto regulations are coming. Crypto positive U.S. administration in general. All institutional players want to tokenize everything, including BlackRock. We'll soon crack 20 XRP ETFs. We're coming to get you Bitcoin. And yeah, this is just, almost 20 ETF filings. How can't you be bullish about that? 20 XRP ETF filings. Think about that. First ever U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission regulated XRP futures product. Brad Garlinghouse virtually in every U.S. summit there is. RLUSD minting in millions, soon in the billions. RLUSD, XRP Ledger AMM at continuous 15% APY. Good hedge if you don't know what you're doing. Stablecoin bill incoming. QE if all goes well. Rate cut next session. Money supply, M2 increasing. Ukraine war may end soon. What a waste of people. XRP Ledger EVM sidechain plus Axler integration. Smart contracts on the XRP Ledger next year as well, which is XLS 101 and XLS 100. Relatively stable price at 5x, starting price at 50 cents. XRP will likely be part of the US crypto stockpile. DXY freefall. Luckily, I hold CHF. Brent crude futures falling. Oh, yes. And listen, the entire environment right now around crypto is extremely bullish. It's just very, very dark because of price action. But if you actually look behind all of that, You know, you could see the bullish environment forming. This is why I said that there's like a tsunami forming behind this entire space. It's not just around XRP. I mean, don't get me wrong, XRP is probably, I mean, XRP is one of the most bullish assets in this space right now. I just got to be honest with you guys. And it's not even me being biased. But on top of that, we go over here. Institutions, right? Yeah, institutions want to tokenize, but think about it like this. Now we have institutions ready to embrace crypto in a huge way and actually have crypto allocations increased this year. 83% of institutions plan to increase their crypto allocations in 2025. And this is from a Coinbase institutional investor survey. So when we think about that, right, institutions want to buy while retail wants to sell. That's wild to me. When we are thinking about how big this space will be in just a couple months, I do think that it's going to take everyone, you know, by storm. I think a lot of people are going to be, you know, shocked by what happens, you know, going forward here soon. Institutions are ready to go all in on crypto. Institutions are here to embrace crypto in a huge way. And by the way, talking about that, you guys remember this video clip from David Schwartz where he was talking about how Ripple's current strategy is to implement the necessary primitives on the XRP ledger for institutional DeFi that will lead to the inevitable consumer-facing retail use cases? Basically, you know, hinting at institutions being the driver around mass adoption of this tech. Listen closely if you haven't already.
If you're holding $5 million in tokenized treasuries, the amount of margin that the issuer is making is microscopic. Your yield is microscopic, the margins are microscopic. So we're gonna bring enterprises in for dumb reasons, like it saves them money, it's more transparent. They're not going to understand that it's going to do the same thing that stablecoins do. People use stablecoins for use cases that they could never use any other asset for. Like you can't use a non-on-chain asset as collateral for some DeFi application. And what's going to happen is they're going to learn that by tokenizing these real-world assets, all of a sudden they're going to realize that like they can target brand new use cases, you know, brand new applications, brand new user base. So the strategy is to add the features necessary to get that enterprise adoption that paves the way for mass retail adoption. We're not going to see mass retail adoption of DeFi in the next year or year and a half because all of the DeFi applications are basically gambling. I mean, they're either recreational applications or gambling applications. If we want to like take over finance, we need the really boring, I need a checking account, I need a savings account, I need a retirement account, I need a stock portfolio, I need sensible investments, I need the equivalent of certificates of deposit. We have to build all the boring stuff, and enterprises are what's going to make that possible. So the strategy is, over the next year and a half to 2 years, bring in the enterprises with these features around tokenized real. They're going to do it for dumb reasons. Some of them will be visionaries. Some of them will see this vision and they'll come to blockchains because they understand that it's like revolutionizing finance. But a lot of them will be here just because it's cheaper and faster and it works on weekends and it has these tiny little advantages that are better is better, right? If I go to you and I say I have something better, you don't have to believe me that it's going to change the world. It's enough for you that it's better. And then hopefully in a year and a half to 2 years, we can really turn that corner to sort of mass retail adoption.
Now, why do I bring this back up? It's because of this video that was at the recent summit, and this is from the Blockworks Digital Asset Summit. We have Ripple X Marcus Inventure discusses DeFi roadmap, XRP Ledger, the first blockchain to have a decentralized DEX, the first blockchain to allow tokenization, new AMM functionality, new primitives, lending, and enhanced programmability. This is all happening while the environment around XRP is extremely bullish. This is going to lead to institutional grade DeFi adoption in a massive way. Check it out.
And speaking of, what Ripple has been doing, would love to wrap up by hearing more specifics on your roadmap. I know you recently announced an institutional DeFi plan. So how do you see Ripple fitting into kind of this tokenization future?
All right. 2 minutes for this. I'll unpack it in two sort of like elements. So the area I look after at Ripple is called Ripple X. It basically brings together all of Ripple's contributions to the layer 1 blockchain, the XRP Ledger, and you highlighted the institutional DeFi roadmap that we're pursuing there. And so it's basically we have a group of product engineering people who contribute with new financial primitives, compliance features onto the XRP ledger, so it can really be a backbone to power this transformation, bring more of traditional financial markets on chain. What I also want to flag, though, is that since day one, the XRP ledger actually came with inherent features that support institutional DeFi. So it's the first blockchain that had a native decentralized exchange integrated on the protocol level. It's the first blockchain that allowed tokenization. We called it IOU back then when nobody even knew about the word tokenization. And we've added other features over time, like compliance features, like clawbacks, decentralized identity. An AMM has been introduced last year, and this year we'll continue to add new primitives, like a lending protocol that's going to come natively, and we're also aiming to bring programmability and more business logic for financial applications developers to the XRP ledger. And then the second piece is really Ripple at large. And so, we used to be really recognized as predominantly a payments company, and I would say over the last couple of years really evolved into kind of like this one-stop shop for digital asset infrastructure. So we have a Ripple custody product, which is obviously another foundation to enabling tokenization. We have our contributions to the XRP ledger that I just alluded to. We have the flagship payments product. We also launched our own stablecoin and are a partner around like stablecoin issuance on the XRP ledger. And so that brings together kind of like the ability to really be not only a partner for RWA tokenization, but to really be able to kind of like provide a whole ecosystem for financial institutions looking into that space. So yeah, pretty excited for what's ahead.
Yeah, exciting times for Ripple. I think we should definitely at least kind of give a shout out to the SEC dropping the case against Ripple, so that just like opens up, just frees you up to pursue this roadmap without kind of the way of this kind of regulatory risk hanging on you. So I think that's worth highlighting.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, Marcus, thank you so much for sharing.
So there you guys have it. And again, building on top of this, we also have a little bit of an update on what's going to be happening around the next phase of XRP adoption. Because again, this is how they are developing new forms of tokenization products to enable their clients to tokenize assets used as collateral to revitalize repo markets as well.
Yeah. So look, in the conversations we've been having with many tokenization platforms and partners, financial institutions are looking into this stuff. It's really this notion of collateralization and using tokenized money market products as a more efficient form of collateralization, I would say clearly stands out. And I think it's where we're going to continue to see the mainstream of utility coming from over, in the foreseeable future. And I can give you two examples on use cases we're working on with, larger financial institutions. One of them is really to use tokenized money market products as more efficient, to create more efficient sort of like repo markets. And the other one is basically to use tokenized money market products as a more efficient form of pre-funding for trade financial use case. And what we're pretty excited about there is we're combining different products from Ripple's product suite, including the payments product, including custody, including the Ripple US dollar stablecoin, which was recently launched, to help build a value chain and value proposition for partners there. Just quickly touching on, so why is this a big deal? Why should anyone be interested? I think the main pain point there is really that, traditional financial institutions, they spend billions of dollars every year around all things credit risk management, and collateral is moving, in days, and, risk capital requirements are pretty high and so forth. And so if you can, induce more efficiency in that and be able to move collateral intraday or in a matter of just a couple of seconds, then that's a pretty powerful proposition. And so I think, on the one hand, the potential to reduce significantly, I think McKinsey had some studies there. They expect like 50% potential reduction in operational costs using blockchain technology. So if you think about the potential to reduce these costs significantly in billions, that's pretty exciting. And on the flip side, if you think about the opportunities to move tokenized money market products, or as a function of treasury and treasury management intraday, and have the opportunity to harness yield for a couple of hours only for ample liquidity that exists, and yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this is exactly why we're starting to see a lot more institutional interest on XRP and even on what Ripple is doing. I really do think that everyone should pay attention to a lot of these summits that happen, because we hear from specific players from Ripple. In this case, Marcus Infanter, which also told us, he was the first one to really kind of tell us back in May of 2024 that they are having a lot of conversations with institutional based clients around use of the XRP ledger and even around XRP. And that's when we start to really kind of look into what's really going on. And what was happening even then was the fact that Ripple was focused fully on making sure that they have everything in place for the XRP ledger to harness a lot of the institutional adoption happening around crypto. And in this case, yeah, there is a lot of it. 83% of institutions are planning on increasing allocations to crypto. Imagine what percentage of institutions are actually looking into utilizing crypto if they are looking into, allocating this much into crypto. So when we think about what's going on here, you have BlackRock tokenizing, you have Fidelity tokenizing, you have all these big players wanting to tokenize fully. Franklin Templeton is here already. Imagine how this space is going to look in the next year, the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5. Like, we're not even scratching $1 billion or $1 trillion in terms of the tokenized amount on chain. It's in like the billions still. Imagine when we're at $1 trillion in terms of tokenized value. I mean, this entire space is going to change drastically, but right now, XRP is so bullish. The entire environment around XRP, we are going to see a tsunami in terms of the amount of announcements coming out around XRP over the course of the next couple of weeks. And I also think that we're going to see a tsunami amount of capital flowing into XRP as well, because the FOMO that is going to hit is going to be so significant, more than any time before, because of right now what's happening. I mean, everything here outlined by Crippen Ryder, I'm telling you guys, this is something that you want to focus on. If you hold XRP, this is what you want to focus on. And there's a lot. Don't get me wrong. I get that there's a lot, but this is where all of the big money will be made. When everything on this list aligns perfectly, which I think probably we have maybe a week or two, a little bit longer on some of these announcements, like for an example, the next FOMC meeting, but a lot of this is happening now. I think that the case being pretty much finished, wrapped up, is a huge one. That's the catalyst, right? That is a domino effect. From the SEC case, we're going to see the ETFs being approved. From the ETFs being approved, we're going to see a lot more expansion from the institutional side. And from that point on, it's just going to be one after another after another. I'm telling you guys, now is the best time to be an XRP holder, and now is the best time to be focused up on what's happening around XRP. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.